Hello student, this is Pallav Darbari, your host, and you are watching Pallav Darbari classes. In this video, we will discuss Macroeconomics Class 12th, National Income and Related Aggregates, Chapter 1B, Volume 5. In this video, we will discuss Real National Income and Nominal National Income. We will discuss price indices and we will discuss GDP and welfare. Let us start the class with the meaning of the real GDP and nominal GDP. The production of the country can be measured through GDP, and if the GDP of the country is increasing, it indicates that the country is progressing, because the progress of the country totally depends upon the volume of the output. If the volume of the production is increasing, it will be presumed that the economy will develop. GDP shows the increase in the volume of the production, or the production can be measured through the GDP. This concept was introduced by Adam Smith. We know that in the estimation of the GDP, that is national income, it was implicitly assumed that the prices of the goods and services remained constant during the production process in an accounting year. However, in reality, the prices do change continuously during the accounting year. The continuous fluctuation in the prices make it difficult to compare the GDP of an economy between two different accounting periods and to compare GDP of two different economies. Try to understand it with the example. Suppose in the year 2019, the GDP is X, and in the year 2020, the GDP is Y. When we compare the GDP of these two accounting years, and we find that the GDP in the accounting year 2020 has increased, it makes us interpret that the economy in the year 2020 has improved. But this interpretation may be false if this increase in the GDP is only on account of rise in the prices, or if rise in the price level. Try to understand it with the example. Suppose, as I told you, the GDP of the year 2019 is P1 multiplied by Q1. The GDP in the year 2020 is P2 multiplied by Q2. Here we can say that the quantity is same. Quantity is same, that is Q1, but the price in both the accounting year is different. In the year 2019, the price level is P1, and in the year 2020, the price level is P2. In the year 2020, the price has increased. Because of this increase in the price, the GDP of the year 2020 is more as compared to the GDP of the year 2019. Analyzing both the equations, we can conclude that with the increase in the GDP in the year 2020, the output has not improved, the output has not changed, but the GDP has increased only because of rise in the prices, while the quantity is the same. With this, we can say that national income is having two concepts. One is real national income and the second one is nominal national income. So how many concepts the national income is having? The national income is having two concepts, the real national income and the nominal national income. Try to see the real national income first. Real national income is also known as national income at constant price and can be defined as the total market value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy during an accounting year as estimated with reference to the base year. In a very simple word, we can say that when the national income is estimated, or when the market value of all final goods and services in the economy is estimated on the basis of base year price, it is called real national income. So what is real national income? When the market value or when the monetary value of final goods and services produced in an economy is estimated on the basis of base year price. Now the question is, which year will be considered as the base year? The year in which the major disturbances are zero, that very year is considered as the base year. Or the year in which the factors such as natural calamities, war, etc. are not affecting the prices, that very year is considered as the base year. During such a year, the macroeconomic variables such as production and the prices are believed to be normal. That is, the prices will not fluctuate, or the major fluctuations will not be there. With the help of the base year, we can make meaningful comparison between the GDP of any two accounting period in relation to the base year. As the prices in the base year is assumed to be constant, so any increase or decrease in the GDP is on account of increase and decrease in the volume of production in that particular period. Therefore, when the GDP increase due to the increase in the volume of production, it will be presumed that the GDP has improved. It is regarded as the real increase in the GDP. This is also known as real GDP or national income at constant prices. Real GDP is represented as Y star equal to Q multiplied by P bar. Y star is equal to real GDP or GDP at constant prices. Q is equal to total quantity or the volume of goods and services produced during an accounting year. P bar is the base year's price of goods and services. It is constant. Thus, real GDP is treated as an index of economic growth, parameter of economic growth. Rise in the volume of real GDP implies a higher economic growth rate, which in turn implies that income of the people has increased, hence an improvement in the standard of living of the people in the economy. Now let us see what is the nominal national income. Listen, the national income at current price can be defined as the total market value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy during an accounting year as estimated with reference to the current year price. So what is nominal national income? It is the monetary value of goods and services produced in an economy with reference to current year price. Nominal national income is also called monetary national income. Why it is called monetary national income? Because here the monetary value of goods and services on the basis of current year price is duly considered while calculating GDP. An increase in the nominal GDP, an increase in what? Nominal GDP cannot be regarded as the indicator of economic growth. Rather, it is the indicator of inflation. It can be represented as Y equal to Q multiplied by P, where Y means nominal GDP at current year price, Q represent total quantity or volume of goods and services produced during an accounting year, and P represents current year price of the goods and services. Now let us see the difference between the real GDP and nominal GDP. Listen, real GDP refers to the total market value of the output at the base year price. So what is real GDP? It is the monetary value of the output at base year price. Whereas nominal GDP refers to the total market value of the output at the current year prices. Remember, real GDP can change only when the quantity of output changes, whereas nominal GDP can change only with the change in prices over time. Real GDP is treated as an index of economic growth, parameter of economic growth, rather than nominal GDP cannot be treated as an index of economic growth, rather it indicates inflation. What it indicates? It indicates inflation. So here we have seen the difference between the real GDP and nominal GDP. Let us see the difference or review the difference first. First point, in the case of the real GDP, base year price is considered, whereas under the nominal GDP, current year price is considered. In the case of the real GDP, the changes occurs because of change in the volume of output, whereas in the case of the nominal GDP, the changes occurs with the change in prices. In the case of the real GDP, it is the indicator of economic growth. Nominal GDP indicates inflation. What real GDP indicates? Economic growth. What nominal GDP indicates? Inflation. Now let us see how we can convert the nominal GDP into real GDP. Listen, there is a formula by which we can convert the nominal GDP into real GDP, or vice versa. How we can do it? Listen, the formula is real national income or real GDP equal to national income at current price multiply by price index of base year divided by price index of current year. We always presume that the price index of the base year is 100. So the formula will become real national income equal to national income at current price multiply by 100 divided by price index of current year. Through this formula we can also find out the price index of the current year. Through this formula we can find out the real national income, or through this formula we can also find out national income at current prices. Two information might be given to us, and the third information by putting the value in the formula can be obtained. Now let us see the next very important topic, that is price indices. The question is, what is this price indices? Price indices are the tools to measure the changes in the price between the base year and the current year. So what is price indices? Price indices is the tool to measure the changes in the price between the base year and the current year period. So what is price indices? It is the tool to find out the difference between the base year price and the current year prices. And remember one thing, we are having two tools or there are three measures under it. The first one is GDP deflator. So how many tools do we have under the price indices? We are having three tools. Number one, GDP deflator. Number two, consumer price index, and number three is wholesale price index. So under the price indices we are having three tools. Number one, GDP deflator. Number two, consumer price index. Number three, wholesale price index. Let us see the GDP deflator. Listen, GDP deflator shows the movement of change in the price index between the base year and the current year. In a very simple word, we can say that the GDP deflator shows the changes in the label of GDP due to the change in the price label. Or in a very simple word, we can say that the GDP deflator shows the change in the price between the base year and the current year. So GDP deflator tells what? The GDP deflator tells the difference between the prices of the real GDP and the nominal GDP. Clear? In a very simple word, in other words, we can say that GDP deflator reflects the difference in the price levels between two accounting years. The formula to calculate the GDP deflator is equal to nominal GDP multiplied by 100 divided by real GDP. So I repeat the same thing again. The question is, what is real GDP? The real GDP shows the difference between the price level of two accounting year, because of which the difference in the real GDP and the nominal GDP occurs. Try to understand the same thing through the illustration. Here the commodity X is there. The quantity between the two years is same, that is 100. The current year price is 10. Base year price over here is 5. We know that try to find out the nominal GDP. Nominal GDP can be calculated by multiply the current year price with the quantity. Current year price is 10, quantity is 100, so nominal GDP becomes 1000. Let us see what is the real GDP. Real GDP is the quantity multiplied by base year price, so 100 multiplied by 5 becomes 5000. Put the value in the formula. What is the formula to find out the GDP deflator? The formula is nominal GDP multiplied by 100 divided by real GDP. Put the value in the formula and we will get 200% or 2 times. This implies that the price of the commodity X in the current year is twice that of in the base year. So the price has doubled in the current year. Now let us see the next thing, that is the consumer price index. Consumer price index shows the movement in the retail prices of the goods and services. What is consumer price index? It shows the difference in the retail prices of the goods and services. It represents the cost of the commodity set in the current year as a percentage of the cost of the commodity in the base year. A percentage change in the consumer price index is used to measure inflation. Try to understand it with this example. We are having following commodities A, B, C. The quantity 100, 100, 100. The price, base year price for the commodity A is 10, B is 5 and C is 10. Try to find out the cost of purchase in the base year. The cost of purchase in the base year is quantity multiplied by base year price. It will become 1000, 500, 1000. Current year price is 12, 10, 15. We can see that the current year price has increased. In the case of commodity A, it has increased from 10 to 12, B 5 to 10, C 10 to 15, because of which the cost of purchase in the current year has also increased. It is 1200, 1000, 1500. The total cost of purchase in the current year is 3700, whereas in the base year is 2500. Consumer price index, cost of purchase in the current year multiplied by 100 divided by cost of purchase in the base year, it will become 148%. So we can say that the inflation is there, inflation has increased by, or inflation is 1.48 times. Now let us see what is the wholesale price index. Listen, wholesale price index represents the movement of wholesale price of the goods and services. Now let us see the very important topic, that is GDP and welfare. Can GDP be regarded as the index of country's welfare? That is the question that we often ask. We consider real GDP as the parameter of economic welfare or as an index of economic welfare. A rise in the real GDP implies a rise in the output, that is volume of goods and services produced in an economy. In a very simple word, we can say that a rise in the real GDP implies greater availability of goods and services with the people, and thus there is a rise in the standard of living or the welfare of the people. So normally we presumed when the real GDP increases, the welfare of the people also increases. We feel that there is a direct relationship between real GDP and welfare of the people. But in reality, the GDP as an index of welfare of an economy is imperfect and insufficient. The question is how? Let us see. The first is on the basis of these points. On the basis of these points, we can say that the GDP as an index of welfare is imperfect. First is income patterns. Most of the time we have seen that with the increase in the GDP, the welfare has not increased. If the GDP has increased because of increase in the income of the few individuals, if the income of the few individual has increased and with that the GDP has increased, the welfare of the whole community or welfare of the whole society will not be attained. So in this point, here we can say that the GDP has increased but the welfare of the society has not achieved. Second is composition of output. With the increase in the production, the GDP increase, and we value the GDP on the basis of production. But if we are manufacturing the war equipments, no doubt the production will increase, no doubt the GDP will increase, but really the welfare will be attained, the welfare of the nation will be done. Third reason with which we can say that GDP is not the true indicator of welfare, that is a non-monetary exchanges. In a developing countries, most of the time, most of the thing will be exchanged without consideration, free of cost. Since the goods and the things or services being exchanged without consideration, so it is not being considered under the GDP. But this is the must for the welfare of the nation. But we don't consider it under the while calculating the GDP. We should consider it. The next reason is externalities. The question is, what is externalities? The cost or the benefits which the society will face because of the production is called externalities. So when the GDP increase, most of the time we have seen that the society has to bear pollution. Has the GDP given the welfare to the nation? Answer is no. So in this point we can say that GDP is not the indicator of the welfare. The next is level of population. If the population explosion is there, if the population is increasing, then whatever the attainment we have attained because of appreciation, the GDP will be nullified. So the welfare cannot be attained. I mean, the GDP will not give the welfare if the population increase at the same time with the increase in the GDP. The next point is contribution to the GDP. If a people living in a particular geographical location contributed in the GDP, or if one community of the people only contribute in the GDP, then will the nation be truly benefited by this appreciation in the GDP? Answer is no. So on the basis of these points, we can say that GDP cannot be regarded as the parameter of country's welfare. Now let us see these points in detail. The first point is income parameters. Listen, it is possible that even with the rise in the real GDP, if the real GDP is increasing, the welfare of the people might not increase. Why and how? If the increase in the GDP is on account of the increase in the income of few individuals. Because in this case, only few individuals will be benefited, and the society as a whole will not be benefited by the increase in the GDP. The second point is composition of output. To know whether with the rise in the real GDP reflects a rise in the welfare of the economy, one need to consider the composition of the output, what we are manufacturing. If the country is manufacturing consumer goods, and with the increase in the production of the consumer goods, the welfare of the majority of the population will be there. And if the country is manufacturing war equipments, then the welfare is out of the question. The next point is non-monetary exchange. As I told you, GDP does not take into account those transactions that are not expressed in monetary terms. In less developed countries, there are various non-monetary exchanges, particularly in the rural areas and household. We have seen that we are giving the help to the neighbor, we are giving the goods to the neighbor without consideration. Consequently, such transactions remain outside the domain of GDP, but it contributes a lot in the welfare of the economy, but it is ignored. The next is externalities. As I told you, externalities refers to the cost or benefits of an activity by an economic agent for which it does not pay a price. For example, a factory producing goods emits poisonous smoke in the environment and dumps waste into the water bodies, causing air pollution and water pollution. In this case, the externality implies the negative effect on the health of the human beings and aquatic animals, but the firm is not charged for this appropriately, as there do not exist any market where externalities can be traded. The next is level of population. Listen, if the level of the population in the country is high, then even with the high GDP, the per capita consumption will remain low. So, the true picture of the economic welfare cannot be viewed. The next is contribution to GDP. It is possible that with a large portion of the GDP is contributed by a small section of the people or a small group of geographical area. So, while a few enjoys a high standard of living, the welfare of the masses remains low. Dear viewers, that's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I upload the new video, you get the notification.